No pressure. We are live now. Oh, just let me see. Oh, good. We are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining our live stream. Today we are celebrating several really great milestones for Juru. Today is our 8th anniversary. We are also celebrating our rebranding, and we are having business breakfast with new joiners. So I'm Jahongir Rakhimov, Business Development Specialist at Juru. Today we have a full room of young professionals who recently joined Juru as interns, as entry-level experts. And also we have founder and managing director of Juru, also a host of this event, Botir Gafurov. Botir, thank you very much for making this event happen. So I see Juru's community is already joining live. So I will give the spotlight to you so that you introduce yourself and introduce Juru, please.
Unless that's an intention.
That's fine. I mean, I will be.
Camera a little bit here, so.
So that's fine. I think that's fine.
Good. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Botir Gafurov. I'm the founder and the managing director of Juru. Today is our 8th anniversary, and also is a day where we are kind of formally unveiling our rebranding. So for 8 years, we have been known as Juru Energy, and from today, we will be known as Juru. So we are here to have this live stream to discuss a little bit briefly about who we are, what sort of path we went through, the journey, but also to celebrate our 8th anniversary, to unveil our rebranding. We're combining this event with the breakfast that we organize for our new joiners. So therefore, today is quite special in the sense that we are combining 3 different events. Not only the 8th anniversary, not only the rebranding, but also what we normally do is a breakfast for our new joiners. So congratulations for all of you to be here with us. So we have about, in this room, 15 people, our interns who joined us, a month or so ago. Fantastic. So 8 years ago, Juru was. I mean, this is second kind of live stream we are doing. So last year, we did it kind of, really with very little preparation. You can watch the video on YouTube, and where we've spoken a little bit about Juru. And so whoever, if there are people who do not know about us, so that you can watch that live stream from last year to get to know a little bit more. We're going live with our website Juru as Juru today as well. So we have an existing website. We had an existing website for the past 3 years. That was unveiled in 2020. So today we are launching our new website. So you can find information on our new website as well. We have also posted our new company profile on our website. Not on our website yet.
We posted our new company profile on our LinkedIn, and website is going to be announced officially right after this event.
Fantastic.
So it's live.
So it's on LinkedIn, and it's going to be soon on our website. And we have a Telegram channel as well, where we already posted our company profile. So there are a few different already channels where you can learn about Juru. But I'm here to tell you a little bit about more about the company. So The company was set up in 2015 by myself in the UK, and a couple of months later in Uzbekistan. The initial idea was that the company would be operating in the energy, particularly in the renewable energy sector, renewable energy power systems. And over time, we have broadened this offering to include environmental services and slowly other sectors as well. So today, Juru is one of the largest consultancy and engineering firm of its kind in Central Asia and Caucasus, with 95 and soon about 100 people, full-time staff, permanent staff based mostly in Uzbekistan, but not only. And we are active, we are organized around 4 business units in covering multiple sectors. So yeah, this is very briefly about Juru and where we are now.
Thank you very much, Botir, for introduction of Juru, for introducing it as it stands now. So Juru has been a part of a number of projects that were significant, that had significant impact not only on a country level but on a regional scale. So I believe there were also a few projects that formed Juru as a company as we know it today. So if you could also tell us about few projects that had major impact on Juru and formed it as a company. A few projects in the energy sector and some few beyond energy sector. So please.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, to date, we've worked on around 100 different projects in 9 different countries. So there are many projects I can talk about. Maybe I'll briefly talk about one specific project which I think was quite crucial in the history of Juru, but also in Central Asia and also across the energy sector in our part of the world. That's Nurnavoy solar project, a 100 megawatt PV project that was prepared as part of IFC Scaling Solar Round 1 tendering exercise. This was IFC's first scaling solar project maybe in Central Asia and one of the very few outside Africa. IFC Scaling Solar was actually originated in African continent to really develop or kickstart the solar sector in Africa. And outside Africa, it was, there were some attempts to roll it out. And one of the first and one of the most successful was this, was the project which eventually came to be known as Nurnavoy Solar Project. That was won by Mazda in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. And we did some grid studies for the winning bidder, for the developer, and thereafter, this was Juru's not the first, but one of the first grid studies we did. I mean, certainly it was the first grid study we did in Uzbekistan, but yeah, before that we did some grid studies in Cambodia. We did some grid studies in Kazakhstan. A big major renewable energy integration study in Kazakhstan, and and then it was for this project. For Uzbekistan, yeah, so we did the grid study for the developer to learn about how the plant would be connected to the grid and what would be its impact. And later on, we were hired by the EPC on this project to do the detailed design of the overall infrastructure of the plant, but also particularly on the high voltage side, the substation and the transmission line. So, and this was one of our first experience doing detailed design as well on a major kind of project. And yeah, I mean, eventually, I mean, this project is quite, won multiple awards internationally for its innovative financing structure and so on. And still, it fetched the lowest tariff at the time for the region, and also for IFC scaling solar program. So it kind of it really was a huge, I would say, success story for all parties involved, and including for Juru. So it kind of kickstarted our detailed design business practice as well. So which now is a major business unit on its own, was more than 40 full-time staff, permanent staff working there, and thousands and thousands of more associates supporting our projects. Then other major projects followed. Zarafshan wind power project, where again we've done quite a lot of work during project development, but also during implementation stage, where we are again a design engineer there. We worked on multiple thermal power projects thereafter. So, Nurnavoy and Zarafshan wind is obviously renewable energy projects, but obviously we worked on thermal power projects and a few other projects that we've worked in the energy sector. Outside energy sector, we have worked on quite a number of projects. Our advisory business unit is very active in decarbonization efforts across different sectors. For example, in the industrial decarbonization efforts, so we did a major study in Uzbekistan for World Bank. And again, our advisory team is working on efforts to decarbonize Central Asian cities. Again, with World Bank, we're doing a major study covering kind of large number of cities in Central Asia, and then the short list of 5 cities where we would be doing some bit more detailed studies. We've been working on wastewater treatment projects, a couple of major water treatment projects in Uzbekistan. We worked on environmental studies for industrial plants in Kazakhstan, and as well as Uzbekistan. So we worked on, as I said, in a total of 100 different projects, and maybe of that still around 70%, 75% in about 25% in other industrial industries or infrastructure, or related to kind of high-level advisory work or building sector. So this is briefly about our projects that we've been working.
Thank you very much for telling in detail about the projects Juru had. Actually, I believe these projects you mentioned, and also some other assignments we worked on, were news headlines not only in the region, and sometimes we've seen it at global news headlines. So I had a chance, I had the opportunity to witness how Juru, for instance, became this cross-sectoral company as of now, and supporting business units within Juru as they shift towards other sectors. So I've also seen how we organize ourselves to ensure the delivery of our expertise across different sectors. For example, if you see the organizational chart of Juru now, it's different than what we had previous year. It would be good if you could also elaborate the organizational structure of Juru a year ago, and how it stands now, and how this system works. Please.
Yeah. So I can tell a little bit about the way we were prior to rebranding, and the way we are organized now following the rebranding. So, of course, as a really company, we have evolved. On average, we have tweaked the way we are organized once a year. We've organized ourselves in the beginning of this year, and because we decided to rebrand. So this year we decided kind of to a little bit change our perhaps a little bit earlier than we kind of planned to, initially thought to do. But nevertheless, it kind of, I feel that the org structure is one of the key kind of foundation within the organization that allows us to organize ourselves and organize our work, and it has to reflect how we see, how efficient we can be. So in the beginning of this year, we had 4 business units. So this was advisory, this was sustainability business unit, and then it was an infrastructure business unit, and fourth, it was transmission and distribution business unit. So 4 business units, more or less, these are independent business units, that make their own decisions. They have their own teams, team head or unit heads, and they have their multiple teams, sometimes 3 or 4 different teams under each business unit. So 4 business units, around 10 different teams covering different products and specific offerings or sectors. This is how we were organized since the end of last year and the beginning of this year. So we worked around 9 or 10 months under this structure, and what we were doing is advisory team is basically the team that is our probably most adventurous team that does works on broader kind of policy regulatory work on different sectors. So that's why they're called advisory. It's a little bit kind of it's a little broad. So they might work on an energy assignment, they might work on some decarbonization efforts, they might work on let's say energy efficiency assignment, or some infrastructure advisory. So it's a little broad related to climate change. Even we have a permanent urban development staff member who works for us on our projects in the urban environment. So it's a little broad, and that's very much intentional. Energy and infrastructure unit covers mostly our heat and power generation business, but also infrastructure business, which covers, let's say, water and wastewater kind of projects in particular. Transmission distribution business, it mostly covers energy infrastructure. Also has a dedicated project development team, particularly focused on renewable energy project development, and then also engineering surveys team. Engineering surveys, they do geotech, topo, hydrological studies and other surveys, wind measurement, solar measurement, albedo measurement, pull-out tests, all sorts of kind of different surveys. So then transmission distribution, it's a dedicated business unit that works on mostly power transmission distribution, working on transmission line projects, substation projects, SCADA, and so on. So it's one team that is like dedicated to the power sector. And then sustainability business unit. So sustainability business unit is a team that covers our environmental services, biodiversity, and social performance. Now, this is how we were organized up to essentially today. From today, we have organized ourselves again around 4 major business units, plus one. Plus one is, I'll talk through it a little bit, but the 4 major business units are the following. It's advisory, as before. It's sustainability business unit, as before. The energy and infrastructure and transmission distribution, 2 business units were slightly reorganized again into 2 business units, but with a slightly different content. One is called engineering consultancy business unit, and the next is called engineering design and management. Engineering consultancy means that we would be mostly working with our clients, banks or utilities or developers, to provide them engineering consultancy services, whether it's pre-feasibility studies or feasibility level work or grid studies or environmental studies or surveys. anything that is at the kind of a project development stage would fall under our engineering consultancy business unit. It's a little different way of organizing ourselves. It's rather than being sector oriented, it's more product oriented. So it's more product oriented arrangement. And then the second business unit there, which underwent restructuring, is now we don't have transmission distribution business unit as such. Instead, we have an engineering design and management business unit. So this is a team that designs different type of power and infrastructure projects and manages them during implementation. So that's what engineering design means. Engineering management means it's any project that is that we need to manage on behalf of the owner, i.e. owner project management services or owner engineering services. So this is the team that manages or supervises the implementation of those projects. So this is, again, this is a more product-oriented, a more forward-looking setup. For some teams, it's already very natural because they've already been working together a lot, and it's just, now they're under the same business unit. So for some teams, it's slightly maybe not familiar, and it will take time to get used to. But hopefully, once they get used to it, I think they will see the benefit of it, the benefit of serving the clients, let's say, at a similar stage of development and working maybe across multiple sectors. So, for example, I'll give you one example. Let's say if you're developing a renewable energy project, whether it's initiated by the utility, by the government, by the bank, or by the developer, normally you do, development stage work is not just, let's say if it's a solar project, it's not only involves pre-feasibility or feasibility level work on the solar plant itself, but there's also some grid studies you have to perform on the power evacuation infrastructure. You have to also perform some environmental and social scoping studies. You also have to do at that stage some engineering surveys. So all sorts of different services are essentially packaged under one umbrella called engineering consultancy. So it has a lot of benefits around this kind of that allows to serve the client, under one umbrella, rather than multiple business units trying to serve the client on essentially the same project or a same assignment at the same time. As a single business unit will be responsible for those sort of services. So it's quite forward-looking, as I said. It will take a little bit of time to get used to, but I hope that it will serve the company well for years to come. That allows us maybe to, not change our structure every year in a major way, but maybe every 2 or 3 years. So sorry, I might have taken a little bit longer.
You mentioned +1.
Yes, +1 is basically is our innovation platform. So it's kind of it kind of sits next to our business units, but it's not exactly a business unit yet. It's a platform. So we have 2 or 3 people who are responsible, particularly heavily involved in these innovation activities. And we have an innovation lead who basically leads kind of companies' innovation activities. But it's more cross-platform, cross-business unit, and it's kind of the idea is that there is this platform where people can chip in some ideas, and then we can discuss and see how much capital it requires, and then make a decision how much capital we can allocate. And then once it's allocated, obviously, let's say we have 5, 6 different initiatives, but we have money enough to focus on 2 initiatives or even 1 major initiative. So we have some exciting projects there, ongoing projects where we're investing heavily to study new products and to develop some new products and services. So that's kind of the purpose of that, our innovation platform.
Yeah, thank you very much. for the explanation. I personally look forward to seeing the results of the rebranding and reorganization of the company in a year from now, and perhaps we will see in a year time innovation being a fully developed business unit, the fifth arm of Juru, working totally independent, autonomously. So yeah, look forward to seeing it. Actually, we had allocated some time so that we could have a dedicated Q&A section during the live stream. And I have collected a number of questions after we announced the live stream. So the questions are mostly focused on the employment opportunities at Juru, but we had some good questions that have more strategic inclinations. So if you could allow me, I will give a start to Q&A session. And my first question to you would be, what are Juru's plans for the next 5 to 10 years?
Okay, very good question. So our plans are grand. I mean, we're always looking to grow and serve more markets, more clients. We have grown tremendously over the last 8 years to around 100 permanent staff and close to 200, including all our associates. I mean, that by itself is a major milestone, something that's worth celebrating, and that's what we're doing, and something that we're all extremely proud of. But next 5 to 10 years, yeah. So it got a while to reach 100 people mark, but shall I say all the ambitious stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's
well, in 5 years' time, we want to grow 5 times. I mean, it's 10 years' time, I mean, to grow 10 times. So it's very easy math. I want to keep things simple. So the first 8 years, maybe, okay, it took 8 years to get to 100 mark. But I hope that to get to 500 mark, it's 500 people. Hopefully it will take much shorter. So this is if I can be really brief.
Yeah. So we should expect exponential growth. So in 5 and 10 years.
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Thank you very much for the answer. I have also another question for you. So how did expanding into new sectors start?
Yeah, I mean, this is all natural, really, because, like a few years ago, maybe in the beginning, we were kind of a little more adventurous in terms of our geographies. We went to Southeast Asia, doing some major projects in Cambodia, in Maldives, and we have pursued projects in thousands of countries in East Asia, in Southeast Asia, in Asia Pacific, and a few African countries. But in 2019, I realized that we need to focus on key geographies where we have a competitive edge, which is Central Asia and Caucasus. So, I mean, we define ourselves as a more geography-focused company, focused on the region. So once you kind of make that decision, the rest will probably a little more natural, because let's say the energy landscape is growing so fast, but nevertheless you understand that you're still limited by a region. You have certain limits that the sector itself, puts certain limits on you, and then that naturally pushes you maybe to say, okay, what else can we do using our resources, because the region is limited, but our potential is not. So I was really keen to continue to kind of grow to diversify the services and sectors we can cover. So therefore, first we started adding some products which were needed to serve our energy core energy offering. So particularly in the environmental and diversity field, which is to date is one of our largest teams, and we are extremely really keen to continue to grow particularly in the area of biodiversity. As you see, the focus on biodiversity management is growing, not only exponentially, maybe even faster. This is a math notation that shows growth, which is even faster than exponential growth. And I think we need to really catch up. So it's really, I think, areas where I think we have a huge advantage to serve, and an area that I'm really passionate about is environmental and biodiversity and other infrastructure sectors. So this, again, to summarize, it's all natural. That probably, particularly in the last 3 years, kind of we were kind of naturally entering new sectors and new products.
Thank you very much for the detailed answer. I have one more question. I see our colleagues here also, they would like to probably ask some questions. So I will not be taking much time. And I have one more question, and we can go ahead and ask people here. So the question is, Juru is mostly associated with the energy sector. We've been working in this sector for a while, and now we grew beyond it. And how are you going to communicate new positioning to clients and partners, to the society?
Fantastic. Yeah, as I said, we came to be known as an energy consultancy, and that's true, and that remains true, as we will continue to be a major force in the energy sector in the region, and we will expect to be to strengthen in the energy space. We expect to continue that path. For kind of marketing or positioning for other sectors, it's that was sometimes not so easy, because clients were maybe a little bit kind of confusing it sometimes. We had to a little bit explain that, look, this is where we have teams with this expertise, and we have business units trying to serve that, and was why at the end of last year we decided that we would reorganize and clearly signal, let's say, our capability in our sustainability business unit, which are, as I said, they work not just in the energy sector, but they provide the environmental, biodiversity, and social services across other sectors as well. And also we reorganized at the end of last year, where one of the business units was energy and infrastructure. So we were already trying to package things around clearly signaling that we already kind of active in other sectors. But I mean, this rebranding is actually has been conceptualized maybe a couple of years ago, when we realized that we will be workers and we need to prepare for this eventual rebranding. So this is essentially this rebranding exercise is part of that process to address particularly our clients and projects in non-energy sectors.
Thank you very much for your answer. I believe people here may have some questions. So raise your hands if you have some question you would like to ask.
Okay.
Come on, don't be so shy.
Yeah, go on, guys.
May I ask?
Sure.
Here, you may have the microphone. Microphone closer.
When you started the business, was it difficult to win the projects? Because in the beginning, the company didn't have huge experience, and how did you win the projects, let's say, in tenders or?
Yeah. So, well, thank you for this question. So this is a question that's in consultancy. That's a $1 million question. How do you make it work? So I mean, basically, it's never easy to win projects in consultancy work, because it's not so easy to prove to clients that you have the expertise, because anyone can claim you have the expertise. It's easy to claim experience, it's easy to claim expertise, but it's difficult to really demonstrate that it's much more difficult. So therefore, early years have been extremely difficult. The first 5 years probably was the toughest first few years. So the way we did it was basically using kind of few skills, not expertise, few skills that we had, trying to convince partners to team up with us and trying to bid together, and was some success. So this is how we got started, and then you build on everything you learn from every project. You build on it and then take it to the next project and next project and next project. But it's a long journey. There are, we've been around for 8 years, and sure, I mean, we've been phenomenally successful by any measure. But there are companies with 100 years of history, and still they have to really, really work hard to get their next projects. So this is just the nature of, as I said, the consultancy and engineering sector, and yeah, this is very, very normal to always fight for the next project. But what makes it probably what should make it easy is when you really care about what you do, and if you have the team that really cares about what they do, it just makes it much easier, I have to tell you. It just makes it very easy. And again, a few years ago, we decided that we're going to focus on the region only, on our own region, in Central Asia and Caucasus. So once you kind of make it clear to the clients, this is your playground, this is your resources, and we really care and we want to do well for you. So then it just becomes a little easier. Not a lot easier, a little easier to kind of, and especially if you have a track record of delivering work, then again, as I said, once there is an evidence that you're delivering, you can do this work, and at some point, it's just easy to cross-check. Clients can easily talk to others, their friends, and other clients to try to do a reference check. So, okay.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? You may first introduce yourself and then.
Okay. My full name is Muqaddam Fardasjan, and I am at engineering service team. And let's talk about the competitors. Do you have any kind of competitors in local and international markets? Can you give me some kind of examples or some story about the competitors or this kind of companies?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for the question. I mean, we have competitors. Obviously, we have a lot of competitors, international competitors, regional competitors, and local competitors. I mean, I like to refer to them more as partners. So again, as a consultancy, is a kind of consultancy engineering is a business where, again, it doesn't matter how experienced you are, how successful you are, you always need a partner to collaborate. It doesn't matter. You can be a 100-year-old company and still working with partner companies to deliver almost any project you do. And likewise, as a young company as Juru, we always work with others. So therefore, for us, certainly for me, it's quite important that we refer to our industry as we're comprising of a lot of partner companies. And this is what we aspire to. At least this is my goal, and to continue that path, to build relationship with our competitors so that we can work more and more. Because if the competition is good and healthy, everyone is learning, and it allows everyone to be efficient in what they do. To give you an example, so in the region, let's say, in Kazakhstan, one of the major companies is Kazselergo, for example. We kind of look up to them as one of the big companies in Kazakhstan. Somebody at the moment we're quite keen to work with them on 1 or 2 assignments. But not only this is nothing to do with the size, but there are other companies where maybe smaller but very, very competent in specific areas. We are very, very keen to work with them. In Uzbekistan, some of the major players are there is a French JV, who's our system. They've been in the market for a few years, and again, they've also been quite a major force in the region, and in Uzbekistan in particular. We come across them quite often, and trying to, where possible, we're trying to support each other. In terms of regional players, maybe I don't know that many regional players that have truly regional capabilities. That's a bit maybe. I would love to see more companies like Juru, where by definition, by design, they really want to work across the region, because working in a specific country is different, and working across the region requires a different skill set. Whereas working internationally requires, again, another skill set. Internationally, we have a lot of partners whom we really, really enjoy working with. We learn from them, and always it's fantastic to work with them. Some of the companies, I don't know, Intech, Gopa International, Consultants. It's a German company. We worked quite a bit with another German company called Fichner. We worked with Swiss office of major company called Afri. Quite a few projects. We worked with some French companies. We work with Spanish companies, some Indian companies. So with all sorts of companies, we have experience of working with all sorts of companies. And as I said, it's just the specifics of this sector where you need to always work with each other and learn from each other, and let each other be efficient in what we do best, and let them focus on what they're good at, and then this allows us to focus on what we're good at. Nobody can be good at everything. This just doesn't work like that. So this is our philosophy.
We'll get a couple more questions from in-person audience, and then we'll get to the questions that I received from the audience. So please.
Okay.
Juru has been in the energy sector for a while now, 8 years. And I tend to think that success, at different times, success is measured differently. So the question is, for now, or for the past year, what is your measurement of success? Is it financial, or is there something else to it?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Raihana, our BD intern. I mean that's an interesting question. Well, at the moment, the way I define success is, how much, what we're doing, how much it's really touching other ordinary people's life in a positive way, how much it's changing. I think it's very important to, see what is the most important thing about what we're doing, right? Is this, as a business, what we're earning? Is this salaries? I don't know. Is this the relationships that are being built around it? Is this the employment opportunities we're creating, direct employment opportunities we're creating? Is this, the careers we're transforming? But yeah, if you really want to focus on kind of the biggest thing, why we do this, is because we want to, really change as many lives as possible towards, right? We want to make where kind of, the places that we live, we want to make it better by certain margin. And if we are doing, if our projects are successful, if our clients are successful as a result, and as a result, finally consumers are benefiting in a positive way, then this is kind of, I would say, this is a measure of our success. Relatively speaking, I think we have been, as I said, quite successful. I mean, organization, you normally need many, obviously, stakeholders to make it a kind of it's a joint effort. But obviously, we have a certain angle to this sector, and I think, having worked in around 100 projects, and I can proudly say we have delivered all our projects successfully and was minimum failure rate, and I think that's already impacting the lives of ordinary people. So therefore, I think we should be quite proud of what we're doing and consider ourselves as successful. So this is the definition of my definition of success.
Thank you very much. We will have one more question from the audience.
Okay.
Hi everyone again. What kind of candidate can become an ideal employee for Juru? I mean, qualities, skills of a particular person.
Very good, very good. Well, people can be. We have all our employees are ideal. Ideal employees. We have close to 100. There is no ideal human being, but I think if you really care about the place you work for, that's it. That's all I want. We certainly don't expect you to be experienced. Even if somebody comes with, 5 years of experience somewhere, and they still come in and have to learn pretty much everything, and it's perfectly fine with us. It's absolutely fine with us. As far as you care about what you do, you are true to yourself. That's all we want. That you be yourself. Don't try to be somebody else, and you will be ideal for us. So, and it's absolutely fine as well. It's a lot of these things are quite natural. So people come, as we have just before this live stream, we had a nice breakfast, a nice chat. Right? It was quite important for me to learn about not only what you're learning and how it's shaping you, but also about your challenges, right? It's just quite, fascinating to know some of the challenges are quite unique in a sense that it brings a unique perspective in the way, let's say, how COVID impacted our way of working or our life, and people, might struggle, and it's just normal. So we have to look at these things as, normal. We already did our homework when we were hiring you, so we better stick. we better be sure that we better also from our side, show commitment to you that you are very, very welcome, and you're absolutely fine to make mistakes, and if you fail in a few aspects, absolutely no problem. You will have challenges, and I hope that you're growing and learning from these challenges. So. Thank you for being with us. Shall I say this is the largest, this is the first intake interns. It's structured. So we always had interns, but this is the first time we structured as a kind of a proper internship program. And we hired 20 of you, isn't it? So around 15 of you are here, but not all of you. We couldn't fit into this room. So 20 interns, it's a record for us. And I hope you are enjoying yourself. Okay.
Thank you very much. I think we will have a couple more questions, and I believe our colleagues are waiting in our office for us to celebrate it internally. So the next question is actually as a follow-up to the previous question. So we've seen Juru recently hired a number of interns. So what was the outcome of this talent attraction effort, and will there be more internship opportunities in the future?
Yeah, I mean, the latest outcome is this breakfast. So as I said, we couldn't fit 5 people, so we fit here 15 people. So 5 more for our interns are waiting out for us in the office. As I said, it's a record intake. The outcome is whatever you make out of it. So if you consider it successful, I consider it successful. For me, it's very successful. I mean, if you ask me, personally, it's fantastic to have all of our interns as I said, as far as they're learning, they're growing, and becoming useful to these, and this is, I think I consider, because internships, you have to understand, it's like our interns, you're at very at the early start of your career, right? And the expectations have to be managed. We can't expect suddenly, but it's fantastic. I mean, some of the stories I hear about the heroics you're showing in the office is commendable. Believe me, some of the things I heard, sometimes people need years of experience to do some of the work you're doing. So you can be really proud of yourself.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay.
I believe,
And we will have more interns. So I would love to. I think it's very important to be consistent. So depending on the market condition, of course, the numbers can change. I hope that I'm very keen to have this every year. And as we discussed in the beginning, that I'm very keen to see more diversity coming from different parts of the country and different parts of the region. I mean, this year we hired almost 20 people, and unfortunately, none of you are outside Uzbekistan. So I would love some of you to be outside Uzbekistan. And as I said, from all corners of the country, of the region. We have only about 25% of you are women, and we hope to have more of you. So that's why we just need a bit more diversity. So
thank you very much. So we will have the last question, after which we can close the live stream. It has been quite productive. And the last question would be a more strategic one. So Juru is an international firm, but our major focus is on Central Asia and Caucasus. Mm-hmm. What are the preconditions for Juru to consider to going to other markets?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have some way to go, I would say, because really we want to, in the consultancy field, whatever you do, it has to be credible. You can't just say, oh, we are now international, we do this. It's very easy to make claims. But I think this region is still underserved. So I expect for the most part that we would be focused on this region for a while. And then we will see. If we have, maybe in specific product areas, where we will have capacity to take on projects which are outside the region, and we will be happy to consider that in due course. But again, as I said, we need to be, whatever we do, it has to be credible. We need to have resources on it, we need to have capability, we need to have expertise, and on the ground, we need to have a network, a proven people or local partners who can really help us deliver projects in those countries. So our current goal is to be truly, trusted partner in the region. We are working across almost all the countries in the region, and we want to continue to strengthen this. I think this is our priority for the coming years. And then again, as I said, we will see thereafter, based on specific competence we have, where we are perhaps we have large number of people working. Then, if it allows us to work outside the region, we will consider that on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, thank you very much. I believe we are running out of time, so I think it's time to say goodbye to our YouTube audience and close the live stream. I would like to thank everyone for participating. Thank my colleagues for their questions. Thank our people in our LinkedIn community for submitting their questions. Our employees for sharing their views, their questions on how to organize the live stream. Any closing remarks from your side? We'd be happy to hear.
Yeah, well, thank you for being with us. It was really nice to have you here and to have people joining us online, and see some of you in the office for the celebrations. Woo!
Yeah, exactly.
Happy 8 years!
Happy 8 years!
Thank you.
Cake is waiting for us.
Exactly, the cake